General Wade and his deputy Colonel Caulfield built this military road in 1700 with the intention of suppressing the unruly Highlanders, finishing about 1760. This is part of the Wade-Caulfield Road outside Gormston, Perthshire, near the entrance to Minnie Castle, leading to the beautiful Sma Glen, 10 miles northeast of Crieff. When they were building the military road, the engineers had to move this boulder by using screw jacks. Beneath, they found a stone cist filled with burned bones and a few bronze fragments. To the right of the stone, you can also see this green mound, a later burial. This is the grave of one of the engineers who died during the construction of the road. Ossian was a 3rd century Fingalian warrior, son of Fingal himself, and became blind in later life, becoming a bard, reputedly writing many poems. You can also see part of the structure of the Bronze Age burial site. There was originally a circular earthen dyke 200 feet in circumference and 3 feet high, with a military road passing through its centre. On hearing that the bard's remains had been disturbed, the local community carefully carried them to the top of a nearby hill, the Scurrin, and erected a cairn over the remains with great ceremony. The burial, however, could not be of Ossian, as this site dates back to the Bronze Age. This is the Scurrin. Wordsworth said in his poem on the Sma Glen, "Yet happy feelings of the dead," and therefore was it rightly said that Ossian, last of all his race, lies buried in this lonely place. This is his cairn at the top of this Scurrin. Now, walking west to Newton Bridge and up West Burnham to Coynican Farm and Ochnafree, this area is full of an almost palpable ancient history. A slight diversion, still in the military road, over the tumbling Largate Burn to this bridge, one of the few on Wade's Road. This is a row of derelict shillings called Craignavel, higher up from the road. Still looking west. Further along the road we come to Alch Corrie Cooltrain, looking up to this huge man-made cave, sometimes called the Kirk of the Grove, sometimes the Druids Cave, sometimes the Shelter Stone. A close-up of what some believe to be an ancient chapel, with the Druids Cave in the background. And panning round to the cliff on Ochnafree Hill, which has the Thief's Cave marked on the Ordnance Survey map. There is now no sign of this cave, and it may be a mistake, as local legend has it that a man recently found a small fissure in the nearby Eagle's Crag, which opened out into a large cavern. And round to a close-up of the Druids Cave. This is a pile of 6 massive stones, not a freak of nature, but part of the man-made Ley Line system. More of this shortly. Inside the cave, a shepherd told me years ago that he entered this cave on a blistering hot summer's day without a breath of wind and was appalled when he heard it emitting a low-frequency humming sound. His collie lay outside, petrified with fright. Coming back down the glen, we come to this lonely tree called the Tree of Legend. It is not surprising that it is standing alone on this desolate moor. As the saying goes, if any man cuts a branch of this tree, he will die, but the tree will live. Back into West Glenarmouth, travelling towards Auchenafree is this old schoolhouse made of corrugated iron. In a rainstorm, the noise was so loud that the teacher couldn't be heard. It is surrounded by trees, as Colonel Whitaker, who owned the big house, did not want to see the children playing. He was buried on a tiny island on the nearby Glen Sharvey burn. One standing stone remains beside the road. Originally it was a 4-stone circle or 4-poster. It now stands alone beside this Neolithic burial cairn. And this is a sheep stall, built to commemorate the Millennium by the shepherd Mr. Dawson, to show the superb skills and hard work by the dry stone dykers of old. Craignaver Burial Ground. This is the last resting place of so many people in this glen.
Postman Pat and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing, the day is just beginning. Pat feels he's a really happy man.
Chompin, Gaelic for a stone of the musical instrument. It has been carefully placed above a geological fault and transmits a ley line, a stream of natural telluric energy south. Through the Druids Cave, then Ochtertyre Burial Ground, which had been carefully placed above the powerful Highland boundary fault, and down the 3-mile straight Muthil to Crieff Road, probably to an old burial ground in the distance. Stoke Chapel, well up this glen, with a war memorial commemorating the dead of the First World War in this once thriving glen. Back down the glen through these ancient shielings. At the top of the hill in the distance is Doon Moor, Gaelic for Big Fort. It is a picked, later Roman construction. This is the summit cairn on top of Doon Moor. These two books, Ley Lines and Earth Energies and Ley Lines of the UK and the USA, subtitled How Ley Lines Were Used by the Church, Royalty, City Planners and the Freemasons, show beyond doubt that ley lines exist and were so important to our ancestors, and that they may well be of importance to our modern society.